Hello and welcome to the Analyser. We're back at Caulfield for a second straight Saturday, and joining me as always is Dave Strehlau. Dave, look, it was a bit up and in last Saturday, and there's a southerly forecast this week, so are we expecting something similar again?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy day to make ground with the rail true. Moves to the 4 metres to take care of that inside section, but I'm still expecting there's going to be an advantage to be settling on pace, particularly from that shoot start 1200 and south of, with those southerly winds, 15 to 20, even gusts up to 30 kilometres as well. Nice, warm, sunny conditions too, so track probably dries out. So from those sprint trips, I've favoured horses that are going to be right near the pace.
Yep, good track, summer, Caulfield, southerly wind, it all you'd think would be favouring on-speed horses. We go to market thanks to Ladbrokes for the first race on the program. And there's been a big drift here for this favourite. Jenny's Meadow opened 235, now to 320. Magnus Bin, who looks one of the potential leaders, we just spoke about those conditions, has been 5 into 390. Tavu, who can be somewhere close to the speed, 460 to 5, and a bit of specking for Bold Soul, $9.50 to $6. So they're backing a few here. Even Scary's been specced at a price. Dave, the drifting favourite's Jenny's Meadow. She was really good at Flemington last time out. Bold Soul comes through this race, Magnus Bin as well. Look, Jenny's Meadow was the best performance of those three. Getting to Caulfield, is Magnus Bin better suited? Is Bold Soul ready? He seems a bit of a weight horse. He's got weight. That's probably the negative for him.
He meets Jenny's Meadow 5 kilos worse at the weights, and Magnus Bin another 4 kilos. He'll be topped up, Magnus Bin, for that run at 2,000 metres. And you're right, Caulfield I think will suit him a little bit better, but they lodged a protest, second verse first this day, and the St George form is good form, and Jenny's Meadow was a bit of an eye-catcher. He was good back towards the inside, Bold Soul, but I think this run at 2,000 metres tops him up to go to Tasmania, and they're the races that he's going to be on track for, the Cups down there. So as a drifting favourite, I was happy to have something on Jenny's Meadow, just with that weight drop on the others staying at 2,000 metres. The opening quote was unders, given she'd only won one from 16. But now she's at her right price. Tavu will go forward, contest the lead with Magnus Bin back in distance as well.
Yeah, I didn't like this race because I think Jenny's Meadow is a big track horse, but Bold Soul, he's got plenty of weight. He's another one's probably going to be better suited when he gets down to Tassie. Tavu back in distance. Magnus Bin, I got a few queries at 2,000 metres. So not a race I liked. But Dave, happy to back the easing favourite there in Jenny's Meadows. We're going to market now thanks to Ladbrokes for the second race on the card. Run Like an Encryption, who was scratched from Cranbourne on Friday night, 6 into $4 is your favourite. Duke Clisson also has been supported. Jenny Anydots is going to be run at Cranbourne instead, so expect her to come out. You've got Rhea and Castellar in the market, and a good bit of support there for Castellar, who's been 10 into 650. Now, Dave, I was interested in seeing your selections for this race. You've given a really good push here for Martial Music, so sell us some hope.
Well, I can price him half that current quote. I think in terms of a price bet and an each-way bet, he's the best bet on the program at Caulfield on the weekend. He's had 2 jump outs at Pakenham. They rode him a bit quieter in a jump out down the back. He bounced well. They rode him for some cover. Then he ran through the line. But this is the Martial Music we know at the jump outs and on race day. He goes forward. That's Gracie's Rain trailing in behind in the light blue colours. Storm Leopard, who won a race prior and was first up off a let-up. And Alpha Sophie, who could be anything, charging home later over in the outside in the white there. It was a good heat. Time was slick. That wind, with a wide draw from the Caulfield chute, the wind at their back, don't be negative on wide barriers. They're a positive for a horse like that. I think they'll shoot forward with the claim. I just can't believe he's an each-way price, so I've had a nice bet on him each way. Rhea gave Duke Clisson windburn when they clashed at Mornington. They were both first up as well, and Duke Clisson's gone and franked the form since. Rhea's won since as well, and Run Like an Encryption gets a nice run in behind them, but $4, leave me out of that. It's a bit short in an open race.
Yeah, I've gone a different way in this race. I quite like Castellar. I thought it was a really encouraging first run for the Bedgegood stable, and I think he'll come on from that run fitness-wise. He was pretty soft in the market there at Flemington and ran a much better race than the price was suggesting he would. So, tricky map, but I think he can go forward and give you a good sight there at an each-way price. Castellar for me in race 2. Dave with Martial Music on an each-way basis. Here's the market for the third, thanks to Ladbrokes. Headness has been well back, looks the likely leader from gate 1, 5 into 320. Tarzing's been very easy, $3.30 out to $3.80, with Tazima, the stablemate of the one-time favourite, $8.50 into $6, with 2 Wolves at an each-way price as well. Headiness is the first replay we're going to have a look at, Dave. This is the one the market's come for, and I think it's, look, a form-based, but also largely map-based. He does look as though Well, Headiness looks as though it's going to control this race nicely from the front.
Wilmot was 320 favourite this day, pulled up with a throat condition and a wide run, but this is all about Headiness. He goes forward, he runs very fast sectionals to the 600, and then his closing 600 metres, he's still race fastest. You can see on the line here, although he had a light weight, he was pulling away from his rivals late. So although he didn't beat much and it was a 78 on paper, the 70 he meets today, there's a few up-and-comers that would have got closer to him this day in the Port Fairy Cup, but it's hard to ignore the way he won that race. And from barrier 1 with fitness on side, that was his first go at 14. Jordan Wedley claims down again. They'll be pressing forward and it's going to be hard to catch.
He will be. It's a great setup for him. I think he's the map horse and the horse with the right setup. This might be the best horse in the race that we're going to have a look at now in Tarzing, who won impressively in what I thought was a strong maiden at Seymour, and then went to Geelong. And this wasn't an easy day to make a lot of ground from the back of the field. I love the way he let some other horses in the market back in the field with him, and he gave them absolute windburn. He was still quite green. He wanted to lay in under pressure. I don't like the setup for him on Saturday. I do respect his talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if this horse ends up in much better grade than what he's racing in on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not sure this was much of a 66 as well, but you mentioned it was the way that he won. Not many horses did that on the program. His closing sectionals were fastest of the day. They just have to go back from that wide draw. He hasn't been fast away to use him up from that 1,400 metre start point. So I expect that he floats back and gets left with too much to do. I've had a nice bet on Headiness. I really like the setup. Barrier 1 been well supported. And Tazima, first go in Australia on top of the ground. I reckon the trials and jump outs have been pretty good, and the horse has shown change-up speed at the races on wet tracks as well. And I was happy to be against Tarzing at the price.
A couple of bets for Dave. Not a betting race for me. Look, if Tarzing continues to really drift and we start getting better than $4 even longer, I might have something on him just out of pure respect for his talents. I think he's better than this grade, but not a race I want to bet into at this stage. Dave, with a bit more confidence there. That's a look at the first 3 races at Caulfield this Saturday. We'll be back with more on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the Analyser. Time now to get a market for the 4th race at Caulfield this Saturday, thanks to Ladbrokes. And Sun Gift has been well supported, $3.80 into $3. Also good support for Stylish Secret, $4.40 to $3.10. You've got American Wolf on the 3rd line of betting, and Dictionary's the other horse in single figures as an $8 chance. Let's have a look at a replay here of Sun Gift, who is your favourite currently in the market, Dave. I thought this was a clever ride to take advantage of the wind on the day, the way that the track was playing, but also just a lack of speed in the race. And she came away to win quite dominantly. You've got also in this race Stylish Secret, who's had a run under the belt since, and American Wolf looks very much suited to the rising distance.
Well, the market likes to gravitate to quick backups, but I'm a bit surprised about the price of Stylish Secret because he actually had a run last week at Caulfield that was positive relative to the pattern, and I don't think he ran right through the line. She was well ridden this day, as you mentioned, Sun Gift relative to the pattern. I thought through this race, American Wolf was the eye catcher.
Yep.
Because it was a solid tempo. He went back. They choose this race on Saturday over a weaker race at the midweeks as well at Sandown. He's won a St Ledger over 2,800 metres, so a rise in distance will suit him. He'll need some luck from an inside draw. I could throw a blanket across a few of these. I didn't have much conviction in terms of having a bet, but I've landed with American Wolf on top. And Stylish Secret, although under the odds, the quick backup is helpful.
Yeah, I just thought this was a terribly hard race and really quite a poor race. So Sun Gift, I think, is the right favourite. She's fit, she can go forward. American Wolf, for the reasons you've outlined, I think is a big winning chance. Stylish Secret on the backup. Thought Diwali was over the odds, but not a race I was at all interested in. The 5th is, though. We'll get a market, thanks to Ladbrokes for that one, where Our Chief's your favourite, $3.70 to $3.30. A good go here for Comedo. Opened $7 with Ladbrokes, got out to $7.50, now into $4.60. Jenny Gone Bonkers has gone the other way. Open favourite out to $5, and there's been some support for Falset Star at $5 in from $6.50. A couple of replays we're going to have a look at here, Dave. One of them's the favourite, Our Chief, who's going really well. Beat home Jenny Gone Bonkers 2 starts ago at Flemington, and then last time out was there to be beaten, but kept kicking and was good enough to get that victory at Flemington over 2,000 metres. And I don't know what you think, but 1,800 might even be a positive.
He was also well ridden relative to the pattern of the day. It wasn't easy to make ground, and Once he levelled up and got in a bit of a fight, I like the way that he knuckled down late in the piece. He wasn't a quick backup this day and really well suited on that quick backup, having a fitness advantage over some of his rivals. Look, the drop-in trip at this stage of his preparation, not a huge deal, and he gets a nice run from that inside draw, but there's a few up-and-comers here that haven't had the chance to go to the next level, whereas he has, having had that run at 2,000 metres. So from that inside draw, just being a little bit cluttered up, I don't think they'll lead on him. He might need a bit of luck.
He might, yeah. So he's one horse in the market. The other that they've come for here is Comito, who's been $7.50 into $4.60. Wouldn't be surprised if that market support continues. Now, I thought he was the run of the meeting on debut at Stall. Admittedly, it was a pretty weak race. So was this. He had the right run. He was entitled to win, but he did so running the fastest last 400 and 200 of the entire meeting. I think he's going to relish the rise in distance. I think he's really progressive, and I know this is inferior form to the two above him, you know, in Jenny Gone Bonkers and the horse we just looked at there in Our Chief. But the second place getter in Our Chief's race had been coming through some pretty ordinary maidens as well at his form prior, and I think Comito would have beaten him just as easily. So anyway, I like Comito. What about you?
He's got a lot of upside. He's very raw. He was still green. Shane Foley had problems with settling him in the mid-race stages last start, and he got to the best part of the track. I didn't find him in my numbers, but there's a few that could step up here. I landed with Our Chief on top, the favourite, but I didn't want to have a bet. Falset Star didn't have much luck last start as well, over 1,400 metres. Will be suited rising in distance.
Yeah, I like this race. I've made him the best of the day on a day I really struggled to find any standouts. So I think at the price he's over the odds, and I can have $20 to win on Comito there, who I think could well get close to favourite by jump time. So let's look at race 5. Let's get a market for race 6 at Caulfield. This is the Chairman Stakes. We've got our shortest price favourite on the program in Big Sky, who's been $1.85 to $1.90. Jadzia is a really interesting debutant. There's been market support. $4.50 into $3.90. A little bit of support as well for Invincible Sun coming through the race behind the Blue Diamond winner, $9.50 to $8.50 with Mirador at $10 on the fourth line of betting. Couple to look at here, Dave, including the favourite Big Sky who beat Mirador. There was a lot of market support on the day for Mirador. They went really, really slowly, and Big Sky ripped home over the last 400 metres. He, like in his jump outs, still does things wrong, but there's an engine there.
He's probably going to be better suited around a circle as well.
Yeah, I think
a horse
so.
that's green with a rail to guide him. But it looked good to the eye relative to the rest of the program. It was the day where you wanted to be up on pace. They had the wind behind them. And after being slow to the 600, I wanted to see a little bit more in his fractions. It's a bit more impressive to the eye than it was on the clock, but he's going to be better for that performance. It was quite soft. It's hard to put a line through him. I wouldn't be laying him because I think outside of Jadzia, the opposition, he's your clear danger to Jadzia, but I don't want to get involved at that price.
Yeah, which is fair enough, given particularly he's not the finished product yet. Jadzia's had a jump out where she was awfully impressive at Cranbourne, and then also an official trial subsequently to that jump out. This is the official trial we're having a look at. It sounds like you think she's a big chance on debut.
Yeah, she looks like a nice filly. She was hard in the market last week in the fillies preview, but they scratch race morning. Graham Begg just not entirely happy with her morning of, and that coupled with the fact it was going to be a very hot day, he erred on the side of caution and saved her for this. Her jump out work's been magnificent, and to me she's the clear danger to Big Sky, and given the clock didn't back up the eye last start, I was happy to have a little something on Jadzia to roll him. And I'm keen that if she wins this, well, she probably goes up equal favourite in the Blue Diamond as well. So she's one that I want to follow, and I've got opinion of her from the jump outs.
Yeah, not a race I was overly keen in. I've got Big Sky on top. Look, I don't think 2-year-olds are ever going to run decent overall time, particularly when they go slow early. I like what he did late, and I like that he's got some upside, but I'm highly respectful of Jadzia, which means I couldn't take $1.90, but not sure I could take $3.90 the debutant either. I'm happy to watch this one. Lagatana looks like she's got a lot of speed. We'll head to a break here on the Analyser. On the other side, we'll have a look at the quaddie legs at Caulfield this Saturday. Welcome back to the Analyser. Time now to get a market for race 7 at Caulfield this Saturday with Ladbrokes. And Aviatress has been well backed. She's $4.60 into $4 with race fitness on her side. A Little Deep's been really well backed, $6.50 to $4.50. The Mask Rose, the class horse, has been easy, $4.40. Did get out to $5.50 back into $5. So Mangu's been 6 out to $7.50, and they've backed Cigar Flick 13 into 10. So a few horses drifting, a few have been backed. And let's have a look at one, Dave, that we've found here, both of us, at a big price in Rote to Arataki, who's lining up in the Jeffrey Balmain Stakes for the 4th straight year.
And she placed in this last year behind She's Bulletproof
Yep.
as well, so she does look a big price, particularly...
She won it in her first try.
Yeah, particularly given the way that she's jumped out as well. They've shown a lot of intent in 2 jump outs leading into this first up run. Little cheeky look over the shoulder there. 58.20 they ran for this 1,000-metre heat. It was by far and away the fastest heat of the morning. So from a low draw, Dean Yendelon, who's got a good record on her as well, she looks well over the odds on an each-way basis.
Yeah, and I think she can go forward, potentially even lead them, settle somewhere in the first 2 or 3, which I think is going to be a big advantage, as you outlined earlier in the show. Shoot start Caulfield on Saturday. So, yeah, I'm very surprised she's the price she is at $23 when we had a look there with Ladbrokes. Let's have a look at the favourite in Aviatress and discuss why the market's keen on her. She comes through a race with a Little Deep here. This is a couple of starts ago in the Christmas Stakes won by Hedged. I thought Aviatress was a tad disappointing here, Dave. She had the back of Hedged. No shame in being beaten by him, but I would like to see her do a little more. Is a Little Deep the one that interests you out of this replay?
She is. Aviatress is 2-1 up on a Little Deep. The only loss to a Little Deep was in a Group 1 Sangster, but a Little Deep was good this day. I like the space between runs for a Little Deep because she's actually 4 from 5 first up, so goes well fresh. The jump out between runs was outstanding. She likes Caulfield. Aviatress gave weight to some boys last time she raced down the Flemington Straight, and she did have a nice run relative to the pattern of the day. I thought visually disappointing, and the stable noted maybe got too firm for her. So later in the day, we're probably on a good 3 by now. That could be a little bit of an issue. So I've had something on Rote to Arataki each way, made her a nice result. And I want to back a Little Deep to win as well. Bossy Bonita is poorly weighted relative to her rating, and she's up in grade, but she has jumped out well.
She has. She usually does, but she's progressive, and
Yep.
she can maybe take that next step. I'm with you. I'm just going to have something 1 by 4 here on Rote to Arataki. The old Friday Analyser price firm up. It just often happens, doesn't it? Just before we go on the show, they go in. But I still think there's plenty of value about Rote to Arataki, $20. Damask Rose is the class. Scary, scary map. But if she gets the breaks, she is good enough to charge over the top of them. As we get a market now for the 8th race on the program. And Gallant Son, a friend of the Analyser last time out, $3.40 into $3. Ruta Royale's been $5.50 to $4.80. Gracie's Reigns at 6. Behaviour's $6.50. Also in the sale quality on Sunday. And a little bit of specking for Sweetheart at $8.50 into $7.50. Let's have a look at Ruta Royale to start with. This horse I thought was just about the run of the day last time out at Flemington. It was a day where, other than him, it was completely dominated down the straight by horses that were back and wide and had cover given the wind on the day. And it was clearly the run of this race and maybe the run of the day.
I'm in total agreement. So he's not only faced the breeze, he's also on the wrong part of the track as well. So he's copped the double whammy. The performance was awesome. Prior to this, he fended off going down to the inside of Mortal Star. That form has been franked. He's racing really well. 1,100 metres.
We had a good crack at him second up.
Yeah, then he flops
missed
out the
the
gates
start
on the
and found
Heath
a
track.
lane. Yeah.
Yeah, he's back to 1,100, but he was quite good, beaten by Superfund and also Scampy first up 1,100 metres at Ballarat. That form been franked somewhat with Scampy going north and running well in a rich race. So he'll get every chance. They'll go forward from that shoot start and maybe be in that 3 wide line and get last crack at them.
Yeah, he's going really, really well this preparation since being gelded. He's not the first horse that the ultimate gear change has paid plenty of dividends. Let's have a look at the favourite, Gallant Son, who I think this is a bit of a bonus win, Dave. He's won it on his class alone. He's gone forward at Flemington. He's rolled along. He's shown his class advantage over his rivals and a little bit of toughness. I was questioning his will to win, and he put that to bed. Questioning his will to win and backing him at the same time, but I just wanted to see it, and he did it. I think he'll really improve second up, and it is a stable that generally improves second up.
You're right about it being a bonus. It's just almost like, all right, well, let's chuck him in with a big weight down the straight and just get a run into him for some prize money. And he fends off Along the River, who was a narrow runner-up at Caulfield last week as well and had a fitness edge. That was the day where you also didn't want to face the breeze too. So there was merit to that performance. I think he's the best horse in the race. He improved second up last preparation as well. My little niggle is barrier 1, and there's 2 that are going to cross him. So he will need some luck. It'll probably be an ugly watch, but I just have to have something on him to win $20 because around that $3 and, $3.20, around that price for the best horse in the race, it was the same case last week. They gave us that price. We said, we'll just have something on the best horse and hope for the best. Yep,
it's a similar story for me. I haven't had a bet, but he goes on top because if the breaks come, I think he's the best horse in the race, and I think he's far better suited with that slight rise in distance, run under the belt. I'm very scared about the map with a couple crossing him that could make things very awkward. Sweethearted's way better suited back to 1100, and he could be the one. He's 3 pairs back the fence and all the gaps open. He's got a sharp turn of foot. I do think Gallant Sun is the best horse. So we're going to mark it now for race number 9. It's been a big go here for Pure Alpha, 550 to 340. Midnight Storm's been 480 into 420. Georgia Get Mad 850 to 7. Then Extreme Virtue at 9 and Shiny New Deal 15 into $10, backed at a price, one of the potential leaders. Well, let's have a look at the one-time favourite Midnight Storm. There's been a huge go for Pure Alpha, who's replaced him as favourite. This is an interesting horse, Dave, in the sense that the stable talked him up at his Australian debut. He got the win. You'd have to think he's only going to be fitter and better suited rising in distance. But he's not going to be as well suited at Caulfield as what he was at Flemington. And, gee, he had the best run of all time. 3-wide line, second pair on the back of it, and he just ground away to victory.
Yeah, they didn't go overly hard. He just blended into it nicely. He's clearly going to be better rising in distance. And the horse darting back up the inside, his finest hour, went and won the Hanging Rock Cup. How they gave us a price about him through a race at Flemington, I'll never know, but I digress. Look, it was a good performance, but that price, that map, Caulfield, he probably gets back, he covers ground. I was happy to look around him.
Who are you going to look around with? Is Mr. Me one at a big price that you could potentially have something on? We're going to the Camperdown Cup here. New York Hurricane also comes through this race. Is he one you're going to make a case for at a big price?
It was New York Hurricane that I thought was the run that had merit to follow in this race. He meets Mr. Me 2 kilos better off at the weight. He was actually very good at a huge price at Cranbourne first up behind Welcome to the Show.
Yeah, look the winner.
He's a dead set ATM, that horse. He just wins everywhere he goes. He was pushed very wide on a tight turning track last start, New York Hurricane, and he flashed home late in some of the fastest closing sections of the day. Look, he's not a noted on pacer by all means, but I don't think they have to drag all the way back from barrier 1. And C4 was embarrassingly my best bet on the program when she raced at Flemington.
I was with you in terms of having a bet on her. She was plain, wasn't she?
She was 650 in a 320 or something. She was just awful, but I just want to forgive because she's $10 and the tongue tie goes on. She might have choked down. Winkers go on. I'll have something on her, something on the roughy New York Hurricane.
Yeah, I struggled with this race. I've tipped Midnight Storm in the sense that he's progressive, he's got some upside, he's rising in distance, he'll strip fitter, but I haven't had a bet because I'm wary of a horse that just everything went so well, and getting back at Caulfield, I'm not sure he's a bet. Pure Alpha can win. He's short enough as well, and C4 was in my numbers, but I found her very hard to trust after last time out. Here's a market for the last, and a big go for Stealth of Night, 320 to 245. She's got a great starting price profile and a great winning strike rate. Porter was a big winner last time out, $5.50 to $8. They've backed Super Nemo, who got that win at 1400 last time out, 14 to 10. Harry's Yachts at 11. Dirty Grins 12 into 11. Red Galaxy, Cadigo and Fear No Evil are the others in the market. I can't see Zupa Fund there, Dave, which surprises me that he's $13 plus. I know it's an open race. He was a good winner at Ballarat. We're having a look at a jump out between runs.
I thought his second up run where he went to 1,200 metres at Cranbourne, it looked like a horse that wants further. He hasn't been beyond 1,200 in the past or to 1,400 metres, but he just sort of didn't quicken off a slow tempo after being so dynamic first up. They've spaced his runs, and I'm going to list that as a negative for the favourite, but for him, they've spaced his runs He's had a trial between runs where Everrain wins the heat. He just cruises along. Just at the price, with a lot of speed on, I think he can sort of float back midfield and have last say.
Yeah, he's a very interesting galloper that's getting out to a big price. I think he was single figures when markets first went up. Here's Porter, Dave, who went to the front. Oh, it's a hard watch for Analyser fans, this one.
It was. Paradise City's come through this race and franked the form at Pakenham. Narbold come through, was finished down the track, won at Caulfield as well, grabbing Black Storm. That also hurt. But the wide gate for Porter, they just have to press the button.
Yep.
He's hard fit. He does his thing. He rips along out front. And I think he can cross the field. And he actually loves fast tempos as well. That's when he's at his best. And it's a fast tempo that might bring unstuck Stealth of Night, having to ride that tempo with the gap between runs. I thought Stealth of Night was short enough despite her being a winner. So super fun, the roughie, Porter. I make both of them a result.
Yep, I'm with Stealth of Night on top. Not a betting race for me. How are you going to play Caulfield on Saturday? Plenty of bets for you, it seems, there.
Yeah, it's a program that I'm happy to get involved in. Starting in race 1 with Jenny's Meadow. I like her chances. Martial Music's the best each way of the day. Hedonist Tazima, Jadzia to roll Big Sky, Road Tarataki a little deep in the feature. Gallant Sun, best horse in the race. Couple of bets in races 9 and 10 to round it out.
Yeah, I like that. Plenty of aggression there from you. Not so much from me, but I do think Castella's over the odds. Comito, my best. And I'm with you with Road to Arataki. Give her strength at a big price. That's this week's edition of The Analyser. We'll be back to do it again next week.